I just watched a video why a mile high skyscraper is almost impossible. And it had a lot of talk about a lot of stuff that was interesting. And it just made me think about, it made me wonder about who being what country, not even what country because, you know, other than a few countries, mainly China, but not even really China because they're rapidly becoming um, a capitalist country, even though it's state backed capitalism. It's still capitalism. Um, I'm getting into a tangent here, but I don't think Chinese billionaires are going to just sit back and now that they're Chinese billionaires, now that there's like a group of Chinese billionaires, I don't think they're just going to sit back and be like, yeah, sure, Chinese government, just take all my money and power. I'm okay with that. No, there's enough of them now that I bet they're forming groups and clubs, and they probably got hats. And if I were people in the Chinese government that weren't directly connected to those Chinese billionaires, I would be forming a group with my own hat. And I don't know, if I were Xi Jinping, first of all, I would want directly, if I were Xi Jinping, I wouldn't want any of those companies to not have me be like a 10% investor, to explicitly own no less than 10% of any of those companies. But I don't know how all of that works. But anyways, yeah, that's a little bit of an aside. But getting back to the video that I'm mentioning, the Mile High Skyscraper video, it just reminded me of something. I'm wondering who, what country, and collection of companies is going to build the first arcology. And thinking about that, I looked it up. The U.S. has a homeless population of 700,000, 771,008, according to AI. Which again, you got to take everything that AI spits out with a grain of salt. So I don't know. If I were president, I think I would pick out a site and build an arcology and just be like, there we go. That can house 1 million people. And while we build that, all you homeless people, who, by the way, are building that, you can live in tents. you can build your houses right outside the arcology building site. Something like that's probably going to take a lot of energy. So it would probably be covered with solar panels. That would offset some of it. But since you'd be building something like that, hopefully not in the middle of a city, but maybe on the outskirts, I don't know. I would take the idea of building a domed arcology or something like that. And yeah, I don't know. Leave it to engineers to design something interesting, something novel. I have my own ideas about where and how to do it. If I had the money, if I had any kind of money, I know exactly how I would do it, but I don't have any money. And if I ever get money, like I said, I know exactly where I would do it, but I'm keeping that in my back pocket. It's not for you to know. It's for me to know and you to not know. Um, so, yeah, I think those would be good. Those would be great things to do. And even if it's a small arcology that could only house 100,000, 200,000 people, that would make a pretty good dent in the housing thing. And I don't think you would have to charge for that housing because any decent arcology would have commercial space and light industrial in there too. So it would be its own self-contained city. Which then, outside of the arcology, would be other economic. There would be other economic trickle down, trickle outward blooming effects. From something that big. I would assume people would necessarily want to venture out of that thing, at least occasionally. Even though you would be able to live, work, and play in that thing all the time. You wouldn't need to leave. leave the building ever your entire life. Other places would be a good place to visit and spend your money. Or just retire to. What am I going to do? It's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. And that's it for this one. Tax rich, kneecap rich, and lots of boobs.